This is Kirei with another layout for Bramble Fox, and this is my last layout using the October Fox box. And I'm using the Autumn Glory and the Squirrel and Deer Perspectives and the Paper Snips number 11 that come with the Fox Box Plus. And I'm also using the Fox Cut stencil number 46. It's the all over leaves one that you've just seen there. Okay, so I've pulled out the Jen Hadfield Peaceful Heart collection. It has the sort of autumn tones to it that work particularly well with that lovely Autumn Glory title perspective. And I have the two photos there of that really beautifully coloured autumn leaf. And I had them printed out in the large and the small. And I just decided that actually I'm going to use both of them. It's not something I normally do. Okay, I was just showing you there actually the stencil. I had a bit of a practice with using the Fox Cut number 46, the new leaves stencil. And I'm going to use it as a sort of a bit of a background effect at the bottom right of the layout. So I'm sort of taping it down, and I'm just taping over a couple of the leaves that I don't want to include because I want it to be a bit more random. So I've just sort of taped across the ones that I don't want to add. And I've pulled out 4 different distress oxides. I'm using scattered straw, abandoned coral, the dried marigold, which is the one I was just using, and evergreen bow. So I've got the 4 of them, and I'm just sort of mixing them across the leaves here, as you can see, and just sort of creating a bit of a sort of, I guess, a falling pattern, and then that will sit beneath my photos. So just adding a little bit more in, and I think I'm going to put, yes, there we go. So I'm just trying to rub out a bit of the distress oxide I got on the edge, but I'm going to cover that up in just a moment. Okay, just working it out, and I can see that there's a couple that I should add a few more leaves in just over to the side. So here we go. I can cover up that edge that I had inked accidentally, and then I think I'm just going to add another little one in there. Then just looking at how that sits, and then I've added a little bit more stenciling to the top of the layout as well with the leaves. And now I've just taken the pattern paper that I've got, and I'm just tearing off the edges, and I'm just going to lift those edges, sort of roll them up to create a panel across that top part of the layout. And here we go, just sort of lifting up those edges. Just creates that additional texture that I do like to add to all my layouts. Obviously, using your nails is never a good idea, but anyway, it sort of is the best. It works. It's the easiest way to do it. And then I'm just looking, because I've obviously torn a little bit off. I'm going to add another little border, and I've got this. It's another pattern paper from the same collection, and it's the black and white leaves. So I thought that was perfect, because obviously I've stenciled with leaves and I've got photo of leaves. So I'm just going to tear a bit of that and add 2 pieces on either side of that sort of mustardy coloured paper. So again, just lifting up the edges, and then I can stick those down behind the larger piece of paper. Now, just as a reminder, obviously, if you're not a subscriber, pop on over to bramblefox.co.uk, and you can find all the details about subscribing to the monthly Fox box. And that way you don't miss out on some of those fabulous new perspectives that come out, as well as the new stencils, because you can now sort of level up and go to the Fox Box Plus, which includes the latest stencil as well as the as a paper snips as well. So you can get all the details over on the website. Okay, so there we go. I've got it stuck down, and I'm just going to get it now down onto the background so I can start to get my photos stuck down and add my embellishments. I'm fiddling around here just trying to get it straight. I think I'm just going to trim off the slight overhang that there is there. Okay. What's coming up next? Now, I did have those 3 perspectives, the squirrel, the fox, and the deer. Having looked at the layout now after I finished it, I didn't get the fox added, but I sort of look now, and I sort of wished I had, but I couldn't find a place for it when I was doing it. It just didn't seem to work for me. So I did just end up using the little grey squirrel and the cute little deer. Okay, I'm going to get the perspective stuck down. I'm using glossy accents. It gives a really nice hold to it. So I tend to use that for all my perspectives. Just bringing out the T-square ruler just to make sure I have got that straight, of course. Now I've pulled out, I've got some of the ephemera from the collection, the Peaceful Heart collection, and I'd fussy cut already around, taken off some of the additional white border on a lot of these. You can just see some up to the top left, and it's quite a wide white border, and I just like to take that off. So I did all that fussy cutting before I started the layout. So I'm just getting those a cluster stuck down over here to the left, just adding a little bit of foam, a foam pad just under the top of that flower, just so that stays raised. And then I'm just bringing in a cluster to the bottom right photo. Again, just some of the leaf branches, and there's sort of a little flower cluster there as well. And then I'm just layering on the that little deer. Very, very cute. I love that one. And I think I'm going to get that stuck down in just a moment. Now I've got those the leaf clusters down. Yes, there we go. So the little deer's on. And then I'm just figuring out where the squirrel's going to go. I did think over on the left, but actually I do keep him to the top. And I just add another sort of cluster around along that top edge there. So just adding some of those leaf sprigs in. And then the squirrel, and I've just turned him around. Actually, I decided he needed to face the other way. So he's just being stuck down. And then I'm going to start, there's a few more elements I'm going to add to that top. I've got that sort of sun there, and I liked it because it's actually gold. It's a metallic gold foil. And I just liked that sort of gold addition to the layout. I do add a few more pops of gold around the photos. So getting those stuck down, just fiddling around there, trying to decide where that one's going to go. As I always do, it often takes me ages. I tend to push things around a lot, just trying to figure out, I'm trying to get the fox in there, and I'm like, does it look right? Is it right? Okay, I'm pulling out the paper snips as well. I'm just going to get some of the words off there in that sort of yellowy colour, because that ties in really nicely. And I'm going to use falling leaves, fall breeze and autumn leaves, and thankful. And then I'm just using some of the circles from the paper snips. There's a cute little toadstools, and I'm also going to use, I think, the little hedgehog at the bottom. There we go. And I'm just using a 1-inch circle punch to punch those. And then I'm just layering over the little DIY epoxy flares. So it creates just a little sort of round flare embellishment, and I'm popping the toadstools there to the left of the photos, and the little hedgehog's going to go up to the top. Right, I'm just pulling out the paper snips, snipping out what I want, and I think in just a moment it's going to move on, and they're all going to be stuck down. Here we go. Yes. So I've added the paper snips now. I raised those on foam pads, and I added the little epoxy hedgehog to the top. And I did also fussy cut out one of the little owls from the paper snips, and he's just actually been tucked into the right of the large photo. I've pulled in some of the gold puffy stickers from the Jen Hadfield collection. This is where I'm adding a little bit of extra gold to the different clusters. So the sort of leaf branches of leaves over on the left, and I'm just going to tuck a few leaves to the top cluster and the bottom right as well, but I'm fiddling around here deciding which ones to go with. I am just sticking them down with a little bit of glossy accents. I sort of find they just sort of hold a little bit better. And then I'm just going to add a little gold leaf to the bottom right as well, once I decide where it goes. There we go, finally made up my mind. Okay, so that's added in, and I think I'm almost done actually. I'm just going to bring in this Cambella gold ink, and I'm going to add some gold splatters, of course. Love the sort of pop of gold it gives. So just covering up my photos, and I'm just adding gold splatters around the clusters on the top left, and then around the bottom right. I do add some to the top of the layout as well. Here we go, and I think we've gone to the final layout. Yes, and you get to see close-ups of all those lovely perspectives from the Fox box. And there you can see that very cute little deer, the grey squirrel. There's a little epoxy flare just in there. And there's the fox cut stencil. I hope you've enjoyed watching this process video. Thank you so much for watching. And that was Kirei for Bramble Fox.